conditions. Babies are dying at a higher rate with pneumonia, for instance, young people. Now, old people would be more susceptible than middle-aged young people. But babies and old people, I think, would be more susceptible to it. But it would manifest in different ways.
And your body doesn't expel these metals like normally. Doesn't it accumulate it?
I would think it would, because you're out in it all the time. You would never deplete the levels unless you worked at it with diet and chemistry.
Boy, I tell you, it's insurmountable, the attack that we're constantly under. And then, you talked of Morgellons, and that was a whole other thing. I know that I've even heard of samples being taken where there were dried red blood cells that were falling from that.
Clifford Carnicom out in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Clifford, we've known Clifford for a long time. He's a great human being. He's really suffered persecutions as we have here over the years for doing these things. But Clifford has said that, and I will send you his latest if you would like to see that.
That'd be great.
He has said that everybody he's ever tested has been affected by their blood cells have been modified. Every sample he has ever looked at. Mycoplasma.
When you talk about the manipulation of DNA and does anybody have pure DNA anymore? Probably not.
Well, everybody he's sampled and looked at under the scope has been affected. Their blood cells have been affected, have been changed. Animals.
That's what I'm thinking is about all of these people that are seemingly have no conscience. I know that that's something that's a cause of fetal alcohol effect, but it sounds like there's a whole lot more of it being, we've got chemicals on our clothes, in the air, our food's being modified, everything, it's coming at us from all corners.
Your life is under attack, your family, your children, everything is under attack right now. Yeah. And you're the criminal if you try to do something about it, you say, by their laws.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And there you are.
Yeah, and there you are, stuck.
There you are.
I just don't, you often ask, where do we go from here? And I draw a blank. I really draw a blank because I think what I'm going to be doing, and this is just me, is I'm circling the wagons. That's all I can do is circle the wagons and kind of hold out.
Self and family. Self and family. Back many a year ago, a man named Patrick Henry lived up the road from me here. I'm in North Richmond. Patrick Henry lived up just 15, 20 miles to the north of here. He was governor 6 times of Virginia. I think it was 5 or 6. They asked him to run an additional time, and he refused. But at one time in his life, during the nasty conflict with England, he got the men from Hanover County to join him. They got their guns, and they marched down to Williamsburg, Virginia. And they stuck their muskets under the nose of Governor Lord Dunmore, and they took the gunpowder back that he had confiscated from the colonists. I think that may be in order in the near future. Now, I want to mention something else. I see our time is ticking down. Time goes fast when you're having fun, and I know I've certainly enjoyed this. There is such a thing out there called an ALTA report, ALTA. Crystal, are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not.
Is that Cliff High?
Yes, it is.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with it. Mm-hmm.
Have you read them, Joe?
I've only heard some of the information disseminated down when Cliff High will do an interview or something like that, but I've never really read one. No.
Okay. Crystal, I want to get your email somehow. Joe, do you have Crystal's email for me? Later on?
Yeah, I can forward that to you.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the ALTA report, the latest one that came out a few months ago, we have another one coming out in the 25th, hopefully, talks about the oil situation and what's coming upon us, and it's very bleak, very bleak. talks about the evacuation and the deaths. He's predicting in two events, in the Gulf event and the Israeli mistake, when Israel goes after Iran. And by the way, today in the Drudge Report, we have 11 more ships going into the area over there.
Yeah,
today.
I heard about that last week because the Truman actually got underway from Hampton Roads in great haste.
Yes. The Alta Report is predicting in those two events, 1,289,000,000 people will die. And that's how serious this is. Now, we've skimmed over the top of all of these issues tonight to give you a little insight about how some of this stuff works. But the Gulf issue is going to be absolutely devastating. Now, we could go into great depth on this later again another night.
Absolutely.
And you'll get you get a better picture of what's going to happen.
And you know what's funny too? We were talking about family. The dynamic that's being created by this. We have people like our listeners, like you, Griff, that are paying attention and understand things. And when you go to your family, your own flesh and blood, you're cast away, you're cast aside like you're insane because they're willfully ignorant. And I think to a point some people kind of see these things go on, but they say, oh, no, this is too much, man. I need my football. I need my Budweiser. Because
that happens in almost all the families.
Yeah, and it's really sad because and the way I explained it to my wife, it hit her pretty heavy. And I said, when it comes down to it, what is family? Is family the people that, no matter what you do, that they support you, they've got your back, that when the time gets tough, that they're there for you? Or is family flesh and blood? You really have to ask you that, because I'll tell you what, I've got friends that would go to bat much more for me than would a lot of my flesh and blood. And that's what family is to me. And that's the family that I think about when I think about having to brave or weather this type of storm.
It's going to be devastating. It's going to be more violent, more...
And what did you say, 1.3 billion?
I think it's 1.289 billion.
Holy moly.
Yeah, in those two events.
I mean, folks, think about it. There's 6.5 billion people on the planet?
It's about 300 million in the United States, including the illegals. You see, we've got problems like that on top of everything. We've got the problem of the U.S. government turning against the people. We've got illegals coming in. Everything's under attack. The money supply is dwindling. The food supply is going to be in short supply. It's happening right now, and it's going to get worse. The goods coming into the United States are starting to dry up. The truckers are running out of rope. The gasoline will eventually skyrocket once the refineries start shutting down. So it's going to hit us from all different angles. The only thing to do is start stocking as fast as you can. Now, I've been stocking for about 5 years, so we bought things at absurd, ridiculous low prices some time ago. We couldn't do that today because the prices are 3 and 4 times what they used to be.
Right. And one thing that we're going to do, folks, my co-host John King is the king of canning. He's going to be going through a lot of these survival techniques and tips on how to do it. I think his last go-around was turkey. He actually canned about 6 cases of turkey and did it with great success. As a matter of fact, there were people that it was the talk of his little corner of Pennsylvania. But he is the canning king, and he'll be talking about that among other things. But Griff, what do you think as far as the timetable? What are we looking at
now?
I mean, that's before. I guess I could say before survival becomes a real problem.
It is now, tonight. We're expecting something out of the Gulf in a matter of days. We're really expecting something that soon or